All right, friends, what's going on? I hope you guys are having an awesome day. Today is going to be AI, SEO, all the things. Make sure you guys are live on here. You guys are on here. Please do me a favor, give me a thumbs up. Let me know. Uh, Make sure you guys can hear me. Gonna double check here on everything. Just up. I am master streaming a bit. Perfect. We got it. We're rocking. Miss out on this, they're going to be disappointed. I think this. Okay. Right. All the comments. See this. All right. Here we go, friends. So search has changed, but guess what? Your customers are still searching, but just where they're doing it and how they're doing it is a lot different. So on today's live training, what we're going to be doing is breaking down exactly what you as a local service business need to do to make sure that you are showing up in this new place where customers are looking. That is AI, it is LLMs, ChatGPT. Make sure you're showing up in these AI overviews. So for today, the goal is to try to break it down so you understand how all of this stuff works and functions, how it's different from traditional search and traditional SEO, and what specific things that you can start doing today to make sure that your business is shown where your customers are looking. So to understand this principle, I want to try to relate it to something that everybody knows, because I know a lot of this stuff gets really technical. And so if you don't understand something to relate it to, you might just, check your box of, this is too confusing. I don't need this. My customers aren't doing this. Well, they may not be right now, but I guarantee you more of them are than you realize. And so if you want to make sure that you are being found where they're searching, you need to put this stuff into practice. Making sure that you are, whenever it comes to doing this and understanding what SEO is, it is not just search engine optimization anymore. It is now search everywhere optimization. So you may think that you are doing SEO, so you're good. But as we go through all of the things that you need to do today, make sure you have all of them in place, because when you stick around to the end, you're going to understand and realize why. So if you want to stand out, you want to grow, you want to, what we love to do, dominate with your SEO, which is search everywhere optimization, you need to have a holistic SEO strategy. And so, what I want to do is to help you understand this. I want to relate SEO to building a house. And so, a lot of people I think can understand that analogy. And so, as we're going through, you might not understand some of the technical things, but you do understand what it takes to build a strong house. And you need to view your website, your digital presence, your online reputation as that, as your digital storefront. So don't just think of having a website as a, like, almost like having a business card. Like, oh yeah, I've got that. I can check that box. Or, oh, I paid somebody to do quote unquote SEO for me. I can check that box. Make sure you have all of these things in place if you want to truly be found everywhere your customers are looking. So if you want $1 million home, right, you don't just build the walls. And that's what a lot of businesses have done when it comes to their website, is they built the walls. They hired a designer. They made them something that looked maybe kind of good, but it doesn't have a good foundation. It doesn't have these other aspects that need in order to have a strong house. So, right, to have a strong house, you need a strong foundation. You need a smart layout. You need enough square footage, and you need a great neighborhood. And so SEO works the exact same way. Specifically, also when it comes to LLM visibility and showing up in these large language models like ChatGPT and AI overviews. If you want to have $1 million house, you got to have all of those things, right? And just like if you want to have a complete holistic SEO strategy and be found everywhere your customers are looking, you need to have all of these things in place. So, the first thing that I want you to understand is technical SEO. Take a breath here. because this does get kind of nerdy and dorky with some of this stuff, but you need to understand that technical SEO, whenever it comes to being found with by your potential customers, that is just like with your house having a really good solid foundation. So imagine having this beautiful house, but if the foundation is cracked, the home value is going to be down and it's not going to be worth anything, right? Because nobody's going to have to deal with the problems. Well, the same thing happens with your technical SEO. If Google and these other crawlers are unable to crawl your website because it's not technically sound, well, you're going to have a broken foundation for everything else. So if they're not able to crawl it, that means read it, they're not going to be able to index it, which means know how to prioritize that content in there. So some of the things that you want to make sure that you have on your website to make sure that it's technically sound are things like everything is, you got your SSL, your security settings in place. You want to make sure that you have no crawl errors. You've got clean, friendly code. It loads quickly and it's very mobile friendly. I'm going to show you how to check this stuff right now because this is where it does kind of start to get really dorky. So if you want to know, first off, do you have the baseline of technical SEO set? One of the things you need to know is, can Google and can these LLMs, can these other tools even crawl or access your website? Because if they can't crawl or access the data, how are they going to know what it is that you do? I always often will explain SEO to clients is that SEO is not tricking or gaming the system. It is about being clear and proving it to Google and to these crawlers. We have to be very clear on the services that we provide, very clear on the service areas that we do them. They don't know any of the experience that has happened in the real world. So we have to make sure all of those things that have happened in the real world, our knowledge, our expertise, the people that we've worked with, the areas we do, and the services we provide is on our website. But more specifically, it's done in a matter in a format that is easy for these tools to crawl and find your data. So there's a lot to do with this, but if you don't want to get super technical, there's one thing that you can do right now just to confirm that these crawlers even have the ability to access your website. And it's to find what's called your robots.txt file. So it's going to look weird, but this is what it looks like. So when you log in to your website, or you just go to your URL. So like my website is seangarner.co. If you just add a slash and then you type in robots.txt to your URL, it's going to pull up this list right here. Well, this right here is where you can see if maybe intentionally or unintentionally, you've added what's called a no index code to your website. And so that's going to block these crawlers like Google and ChatGPT from even being able to read the information on your website to access it. And if it's blocked, it doesn't matter how well everything else is optimized, how many backlinks and everything else that you have to your website, they will be unable to crawl it. So whenever you are doing this and you're looking at your robots.txt file, you're going to see, you're like, I have no idea what any of this stuff means. This is a few things that you're looking for. So you can see there's some of these Google crawlers and these Google bots right here. But the one you're looking for LLMs is typically right here, this GPT bot. If that said disallow GPT bot, that means whether you have it intentionally or unintentionally, you are blocking your website from even being able to be crawled by these searchers. And same thing, if you see disallow next to anything for any of these crawlers, like disallow Google, disallow, Meta disallow, like Google Ads bots and everything. If you have that as set to disallow, it doesn't matter how quote unquote optimized your website is. Google's not going to be able, these crawlers, LLMs, ChatGPT are not going to be able to crawl your website in order to access it. So if you think about that as far as making sure your content's being seen everywhere, well, if your foundation, which is your technical SEO, is broken, well, AI never even walks into your house, right? The customer doesn't even have an opportunity to walk inside the house because it's got a broken foundation. Wouldn't want to buy a house with a broken foundation, and Google doesn't want to crawl and index a website with a broken foundation. So the first thing that you need to do for your SEO is you need to make sure that you have a good, solid technical foundation to your website and to your SEO strategy. This is going to be things like site title tags, meta descriptions. There's nothing broken, no broken links on your website, and that it's just technically solid. And obviously that it can be crawled, and it's just a technically sound website so Google can trust it. The second thing that we need for this holistic SEO strategy to make sure that we're showing up in these LLM overviews and AI overviews is a really good UX or user experience. And to relate this to our house analogy, right? The technical SEO is our foundation. Well, the user experience is your floor plan, right? So whenever somebody walks into your house or to your website, how easy is it to navigate, or is it really confusing? Imagine this. Whenever say you were going to look for a house, and as soon as you open up the front door, there's a bathroom, and then you have to step through and over the bathroom and the shower to get to a closet, and then you go through the closet, and that leads you to the kitchen. You go through the kitchen, it's a bedroom, and then from the bedroom, it's just like this weird hallway. It's just jumbled up mess, and it's a really poor floor plan. Well, guess what? That house isn't going to be as valuable as one that has a really clean, open floor plan that's easy to navigate. Same thing happens with your website. So Google has to have, and these crawlers have to have this algorithm to determine who should be ranking where. One of those is the user experience. Actually, all four of these pillars are part of those ranking factors. Part of it is, though, that user experience. So Google, these crawlers, they want to know if somebody looked for, Dallas Med Spa, and this business and it showed your business, and a user clicks on that, and then they immediately click back off, or they bounce off, or it's called pogo sticking. They jump right back off. Well, Google realizes, okay, somebody was looking for a medical spa in Dallas. I showed this result. They immediately came back. So this must not be a good result to show for this term. Let's drop it down lower. And so we want to make sure that we have a good user experience to keep people engaged and to get them to take action on our website. So whenever we do earn some of those impressions and clicks from those impressions when we're showing up in these overviews, we want to make sure that people are doing things on our website. So they're scrolling, they're clicking buttons, they're taking action. So we do things by making sure that our website loads really quickly. We've got really good, clean, clear calls to action. We have simple navigation structures in our website. We have easy to find services pages. We have what's just logical internal linking. So if you link to one page, it just logically navigates to another. And it's really easy to just get through the website. See, this is very important for these LLM crawlers, because how they do things a little bit differently is they don't necessarily read the whole website. They look at things in chunks. And so we want to make sure that we have good, clean headings and a heading structure on our website to make sure that the LLM and these AI overviews, they understand the hierarchy of the content and the topics that we're talking about. We want to make sure our pages are organized and linked in a certain way that creates what something is called topical relevance or topical clusters. So again, we're trying to take all the knowledge and expertise that we have in the real world, and we're trying to put them in together so we can prove and be clear to these crawlers why we deserve to rank where we are. So um, the cleaner the user experience and the easier it is to navigate, the easier it is for these crawlers and AI overviews to grab that data and to be able to know why you should be showing for what you're trying to show for. So, going back to our house analogy, for building out this holistic SEO strategy, number one, we have to have a solid foundation. That is our technical SEO. Just like with our house, we want it built on a solid foundation. We want to make sure all our technical SEO is in place. The second one is if we want our house to be worth a lot of money, and just like we want to have our website and our digital presence be valuable and rank high, we have to have a really good user experience. That's our floor plan. So we want to have a really good floor plan that's clean, simple to navigate. The third pillar of holistic SEO to make sure that we're showing up wherever our customers are looking is our content. And so our content, that's like the square footage of your house, right? Typically, a bigger the house is, the more valuable it is. Same thing with the content on your website. The bigger and the more knowledgeable you are on a topic, the more authoritative you are. That's going to make them see you as a higher rank because you're covering the topic from a lot of different angles. So remember, if you want to dominate everywhere your customers are looking, you have to have good content on your website. They are not going to interview you and ask you all of the information about your business. They are going to crawl, which is like read or scan what is on your website to see how they should index it, which or filter or prioritize it. So we need to make sure that everything that you do in the real world is translated and organized in a way that is easy to filter through your content. So this is going to be things like having location pages for your, if especially for local service business owners, location pages or service area pages. This is going to be product or service pages showcasing all the products and services that you offer. This is going to be things like embedding customer reviews on your website. This is going to be FAQ sections. This is going to be blogs written around core services, because you have to show that not only do you provide these services, but you're knowledgeable on the topic. It's doing something that's called creating topical authority. We have to, again, with SEO, we're being clear and we're proving why we deserve to rank where we are ranking. And that is done by topical authority and creating that content around it. Now, whenever we're doing this, we don't just want to create a bunch of, AI slot pages where we're just like copying and pasting, rinsing and repeating this stuff out. We want to make each page have a purpose, and each thing of content on our website have a purpose. It's not just things that Google could copy and paste or crawl on its own. It's making sure that we're adding our unique perspective to the different topics. And again, being clear with why we should be where we want to rank. One thing to note when it comes to content, especially how AI works, is AI doesn't pull pages, it pulls chunks. They're called semantic chunks. It's, if you want to get dorky inside of this stuff. But if you don't have your content organized in a way that's easily scanned, just like with people, whenever you go to a website, you're not reading every single word. Well, guess what? AI is not either. It's scanning, it's looking for chunks, it's reading headings, it's looking for bullet points, it's looking for bolded words, things that stand out. So it knows what should be relevant to the content that it's creating. So as you are creating the content on your page, don't think about just the words that are on there, but just like you would write for a real person, write it that way on your website. It should be in a conversational tone, easy to scan, easy to digest the information. So that way, when somebody quickly looks at it, they know exactly what you do, how you make their life better, and what they need to do to get it. So going to our holistic SEO strategy, building this awesome house that's worth a lot of money. Number one, we want to have a good foundation. That's our technical SEO. Two, we want to make sure that we have a really good user experience. That is our floor plan. Three, we want to make sure that we've got topical authority, which is our content that we're adding to the website. So we're always adding website to information to our website on a real consistent basis. That is our square footage, how big our house is. And now the last part of creating this holistic SEO strategy is your authority. So authority is like the neighborhood that you live in, right? The location, location. That helps so much with your home value. Same thing with having authority on your website value is Google and these crawlers have to know who they can trust. So with authority, that is doing like things called building backlinks or citations. So what that means is it's getting other reputable websites that Google trusts to link back to yours, saying that you can trust it. Because if you think so far, everything else that we just talked about, anybody can do, right? Anybody can make a website that is technically sound. Anybody can make one that is very clear and has good user engagement signals. Anyone, especially now with AI, can create a bunch of content for their website. The thing that's most difficult to do, and why is often the biggest needle mover for businesses, especially local service businesses, is link building. Because whenever you increase the overall authority of your website, it doesn't just help your one page or your homepage, it helps all of your pages. Because now Google can see that all of those other old blog articles, service pages, location pages that you've created, now it can trust all of those. And so it elevates the whole website and the whole brand when you do this. Now, this is where it's different with these AI overviews and AI versus just traditional SEO with Google. So with traditional SEO with Google, it really was just the backlink. It was the anchor text, which is what is called the text that's blue whenever you add a link to it. That's called the anchor text. So it's the anchor text that was on the referring website, and then how strong or authoritative that website was that was linking back to yours. And that's what was really driving your overall trust and domain power in traditional SEO. Well, AI SEO works differently. So with AI SEO, the thing that it's really looking for is it's looking for brand mentions overall. It's not necessarily crawling and seeing how the where the link destination is going. It is looking for how many times your brand's mentioned, how is it mentioned. It's looking for cross-site agreement. So if you have a press release, for example, or a guest posting that's done on multiple different sources, and they're all saying the same thing about you, That helps out with AI overviews to make sure that it is showing your brand in these mentions and knowing what you actually do. Third party mentions matter way more than self praise, right? Go to every website, we're going to say, we're the highest reviewed, most trusted, insert your service here in whatever city here. Well, they're all going to say that. And so everybody's going to say they're the best, right? So where you can really get some juice behind this is whenever you start getting third parties to say it. So this is where one of the services that we provide at our agency, Sean Garner Consulting, is digital PR and making sure that our clients that we work with are mentioned in these third party sources to help boost the credibility. Not only are we getting the links from it, but then we're also getting that credibility boost by having somebody else, a third party, recommend them for their service in their service area that they provide. This is what that practically kind of starts to look like. So, whenever we do this and it's done right, that's whenever you start showing up for highly competitive things. So, this is one of our clients who is voted the best plumber in Tulsa. And we go to the AI overviews. Half Moon Plumbing is frequently voted the best plumber in Tulsa, earning the Tulsa people. And it's pulling right here some things that they've won based upon content on their website. So, right here, their website, right here, we wrote this article about them winning the best of Tulsa, Tulsa people, the best plumber in Tulsa. We wrote this article. Then, what we did is we submitted it through a press release citation boost. And you can see, like, just on this, they actually own the #1 and #2 SERP result for this, because what we ended up doing is one, they actually were good. So you can't just fake this stuff. If you're not good at what you do, you're not going to show up in these AI overviews. You actually have to be good at what you do. But then what we did is we took that, we wrote that they had won the best of Tulsa plumber, added that as a blog on their website. Then we wrote a press release and we syndicated it out to multiple different organizations. And in that, we were building links to the actual blog post on our website. And so honestly, this only took us a couple of weeks to start seeing the quick results with this. But then by having this holistic strategy in place, they're now able to show up in AI overviews for things like that term. And so same exact thing, if you can go to ChatGPT, and again, I'm not cheating here, this is a temporary chat, who's voted the best plumber in Tulsa. Half Moon Plumbing was voted the best plumber in Tulsa. And you can actually see where it is crawling and getting its sources from. It is crawling their website because their website's able to be crawled by AI. We've submitted tons of backlinks and press releases around this topic. And so it's showing up for those things because AI is awesome, but guess what? It's also kind of lazy. So it wants to find the easiest path to resistance. So if we create all of these press releases and all of these cross brand mentions, and then we also add it to our website, well, then that way it makes it a lot easier for it to crawl and index this data so it knows exactly why we should rank where we want to rank. We've actually seen this exact same thing with another client. He actually just sent me this today. Who's the top real estate appraiser in Tulsa? #1, Measured Home Services. One of our clients, Jeff from Measured Home Services. So as we've done all of this stuff, we know that this stuff works for local service businesses. So you need to have this holistic SEO strategy if you want to be found everywhere your customers are looking, especially in these AI overviews. So now that you understand um, what these are, let's think about it so you can start like hopefully having some aha moments. So if we take this holistic SEO strategy and relate it to the house, we have our technical SEO, which is our house foundation, right? If the foundation is cracked, the whole house is going to fall apart and it's not going to be worth anything. The second thing is our user experience. When potential customers come to our website, are they engaging? Do we have simple navigation? Do we make it clear calls to action to get them to do something on our website? That is like, all right, our floor plan for a house. If the house doesn't have a good floor plan, it's not going to be worth as much money. The third aspect is our content. Do we have topical authority? Do we have clear location pages, service pages? Do we talk about in our blog articles our topic from a bunch of different angles so we can truly prove that we're an expert, we're authoritative on this topic? That's like the square footage of your house. How big is it, right? The bigger and the more square footage a house is, the more value it's going to have. And then the last part of all of this is your authority. That is those backlinks, those brand mentions. So Google and these crawlers know that they can trust you. That's like being in a really good neighborhood, right? If it's in a better location, the value is going up. And so if you see this, you need to have all of these things in place to truly have this holistic SEO strategy to make sure you're being found number one and showing up everywhere your customers are looking. If you have this awesome house, but you have a cracked foundation, which is missing your technical SEO, guess what? It's not going to be worth as much. If you have this awesome house, man, it's got a great foundation, but a horrible floor plan. Doesn't matter how big it is or what neighborhood it is, it's not going to be worth as much. If you have this awesome house, right? It's got a solid foundation, great floor plan, but it's super tiny and it's in a good neighborhood, still not going to be worth as much. If you have an awesome house, it's got a great foundation, it's got a really good floor plan, it's huge, but it's in a really bad area of town, it's not going to be worth as much. And your website is the exact same thing. SEO is not, and having a website is not just about checking a box, but it's making sure that it's done in a way that has this holistic SEO strategy in place. So you cannot just have your website should just not be a digital billboard. It should just not be a digital business card that people can go and like see some pictures of you. It should be making you money. And the only way that it's going to make you money if it's able to be found. How it's able to be found is making sure that you have this holistic SEO strategy in place. So if you truly want to dominate AI search in 2026, you got to make sure your website's technically sound. You got to make sure that you've got a good user experience when you get there. Clean hierarchy, navigation, clear calls to action. You've got to make sure that your content is solid. You're consistently adding it to it on a regular basis. The answers are extractable. You've got FAQ sections on there, and it's really, really clear to understand what it is you do, who you do it for, and where you do it. And then authority. You've got a cross-site consensus. Multiple different places are talking about how awesome you are, the services that you provide, and then linking back to yours. Whenever you do all four, AI understands you, it trusts you, it mentions you, and it reinforces the narrative. That is domination. And that's exactly what we help local service business owners do. So if you want to be able to take all this stuff, because you don't want to have to go and figure this stuff out on your own, you would rather just have somebody do this for you. I would love the opportunity to connect with you. Just go to our website. It's SeanGarner.co. SeanGarner.co. You're going to book a call on there with me. I'm going to personally do a deep dive audit on your website, show you exactly how things are working, and evaluate each one of these own pillars for your website. How's your technicals? What's your user experience like? What do we need to do for the content on your website? How's that performing? And then what's your link strategy and your overall authority with these LLM brand mentions? We'll complete audit for you. We'll show you how you can take action and you can start implementing these changes. You can hire us to implement these strategies for you if you'd like. That way you can you can have your business to continue to grow and you can dominate online. So hopefully this helps, guys, adds a ton of value to you. We do these live trainings every single month. Next month's topic, I can already tell you, is going to be all about building sales funnels for local service business owners. So make sure that you hang out with us and you join us next month for that training. Have an awesome day. Let's go now to some of these questions. So now what I want to do, if you guys have any questions, drop them in the chat down here below. There's somebody right here with Shopify working it perfectly. That's awesome. So how to add perfect SEO in Shopify. So the strategies are the same. It's just the tactics might change, right? So if you want to have like what you're saying, perfect SEO with Shopify, with e-commerce businesses, you have a lot more things that you have to do because you typically have a lot bigger of a website because not only do you have individual product pages, but you have every SKU has its own page and everything as well. So you still need to make sure that all of these things are in place with your business. So you need to make sure that the technicals are sound. You need to make sure that, you're adding content to a regular basis, which would be, adding blogs about relevant topics for your content that you have and or to the products and everything that you have. Make sure you have a really good user experience. That's key. So making sure that, the checkout flow, the checkout process isn't clunky and it's really, really smooth. Things are loading quickly. It's easy to navigate and find the products that people are looking for. I've seen Shopify sites or e-commerce sites all the time where maybe as a supplement or something I was interested in, I go to the website, can't even find how to buy the thing. Or whenever I find it, it's like hidden into multiple different like subcategories and everything. You got to make it really easy to find. And then on the authority standpoint, especially with e-commerce, and we want our brand mentioned all over every place for the type of service that we provide. We want tons of links and everything sent to it. And yeah, we just want to show that topical story. So I hope that helps with the Shopify piece. That's all the questions I see on here right now. If you guys have anything else, please connect me on the website, seangarner.co. Have an awesome day, and we'll talk soon.